Hello, YouTube. Meeting from the bedroom here. Yotta Talk Junky. Hope I'm coming in clear. Hope everything's working. Lights on. So, I'm going to do a quick, well, I'm going to say quick, but will it be quick? I don't know. Epiphone shootout. So, let me start by small and working my way up, I guess. By the way, I want to thank everybody, all my subscribers. I hit over 1,000 subscribers. I don't know what that means. I thought I would get a check mark or something. So anyone that's got 1,000 subscribers, if that even means anything, but I thought that was cool. And like I said, I didn't think I'd get past just a handful of my friends that would, watch my videos. But that's great. The other thing is that the amount of subscribers I've been getting from across the pond in England, I've been super nice, super polite, super courteous, and no arguing going on, no bickering about, Gibson and Chipson and stuff like that. And because my mother-in-law is from Belham, Balham, Belham, might not be pronouncing that correctly, and my wife is part English. My mother-in-law is English and Welsh. You guys might want to might get a kick out of my Holly Benton B-Stock Wednesday, where I'm imitating my wife with a British voice, not a woman's voice because I can't do a woman's voice, but kind of like a British accent. And don't take offense to it. I'm not doing it to make anyone, feel bad. The other thing is that I try to change t-shirts. I go to the gym Monday through Friday, and that's when I'm making videos and playing my guitar. And instead of wearing my standard gym t-shirts, which I get for free from my brother-in-law because he's an ex-football player, he's 6'6". He went on the scale down here in the supermarket in Publix, the big dial scale, and he maxed it out. It just went all the way around to the end and pinned it. I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. But he works for a sporting goods place now where he travels around and he demonstrates stuff. And I get a lot of the t-shirts from him with this name. So you'll see a lot of t-shirts with that name on it that I wear in my videos because it's a gym day. I try to keep shirts behind the chair here to change it. So I got this shirt from my daughter's recruiter. She's joining the Air Force, and I'm already thinking right now I should have said this at the end of the video because there's going to be some guy getting pissed off saying just get to the guitars. But I get guys saying thank you for your service. I've not served in the military whatsoever. I wear the Air Force shirt because the recruiter gave me one, and she came home with a backpack full of, you know, um, accessories and water bottles and T-shirts, and he was like, "Hey, Dad, do you want one?" I was like, "Yeah, it's great." But then I forgot to ask to get one for my wife. I felt bad. And then I came home and I had to order like 3 or 4 shirts on Amazon, just because the guilt was there. So I've never worked in the military. I've only, other than my claim to fame of starting the Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace mobile unit for Safe Flight Auto Glass. So if you see that on the commercial or on the radio, the guy come into the house and changing the windshield with, I started that for the company. That's my biggest pride and joy. The other thing that I've done is I've always done, besides training people, I've always worked in the private sector. And I've done everything from armed security, perimeter of a building, armed courier, captain of an armored car route, to bodyguard work. And if you're not going to be familiar with, I don't know if you're going to be familiar with the bands. If you're familiar with Foghat, I knew the whole, I knew the whole crew. I even knew Lonesome Dave, the lead singer, before he passed away, because he lived in Lake Grove. A lot of famous people that I know lived around me in on Long Island. And the other person, if you know her, Beth Hart, she played with Jeff Beck and performed for President Obama at the time. And she's been around. She's done a couple of albums with Joe Bonamassa, which I also met. And you know, for those that doubt, there's a picture of Beth and I when I was her bodyguard, hanging out with her in her Winnebago, and she had a pug puppy at the time, and that suit had all the hair from the dog because we were chilling, and I'm like, oh, I got a pug too, and she's like, oh, and hands it to me, and I'm, you know, the thing is cute as can be, and you know, it's having fun, but I'm like, I gotta get the dog hair off my suit before I go out there, especially for the meet and greet. Now to the guitars, sorry, 6 minutes later, and I know someone's gonna complain and bitch and moan about that. So yeah, I went crazy. I went silly crazy. Now I bought another Epiphone. This is a Epiphone Standard 60's, okay, with a double A quilted veneer top, I believe, on a maple cap, and or maybe just the veneer on the mahogany. I'm not sure, but this thing here, it's got Wilkinson tuners, not proper Grover tuners. Like, come on, really? How much does it cost? I believe it said a Graph Tech nut, so you know they're trying to catch up. It's not a rosewood fingerboard, but this is the nicest Paul Ferro rosewood I've ever seen. That looks very close to rosewood. It's got a nice dark stain to it, and you could see um, the different grain in the wood. Is what I should say. Plastic trapezoid inlays pieced together, so the neck is the headstock is jointed to the neck. The neck is jointed to the body. It has a spacer right there. So they couldn't even fit a full neck without having it cut right here, if you could see it. Come on. See it right there? Get my pinky right there. You can see the difference in the wood. So that's a spacer that they used, jointed with the body. Now on the back of this, it's very hard to tell. It looks like a one-piece solid mahogany back. However, it's not. There is a seam here, from here to here, and here to here. If you could see that, there is a seam. They did a real good job on hiding that. And it's just a veneer, not even a proper maple cap. With your 60s, 50s or 60s, because the 59s are the same way, knobs and the washer pins, so that you know where you're at the 10. With your burst buckers, blues buckers, something hummerbuckers, mother trucker pickups in there, and you know, wood grain looks good. It sounds really good. It plays really good. And I thought, yes, the neck is also a three-piece neck. So there's three lines, 1 and 2. You can see here and here. So this is a three-piece neck as well. So, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Epiphone. I think Epiphone, although with all of this, you're still getting a nice looking, playing, feeling, sounding guitar as close to a Gibson as possible for a fraction of the price. And if stuff like that bothers me. It just, my OCD is just like, goes off the chart, and you can see the headstock from the neck, how it's jointed like that. It just drives me crazy. But I get past that because as I'm looking down at the quilted maple top, I'm like, this is cool. It's got a nice thin 60s neck. No sprouting, no sharp edges on the fingerboard. It's supposed to be, I believe it was medium jumbo. And they look kind of small, but, good enough. I've seen bigger, fatter medium jumbo frets. My favorite is jumbo frets. That's the way to go, especially for bending and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's this one. Now this was $6.99. It went on sale for $5.19. The first one that I got had a cracked headstock on both sides. This video will probably come after the initial video on this guitar. And that one went back, and I got this one in exchange. And I had to call up to make sure I get the receipt, for this guitar with the serial number, because I was there for over an hour and a half, and the guy that's my man that I go to said, just take it. I'll send you an email. He's familiar with me. Plus, I'm a platinum customer. They have my info. So there you go. That's number one as far as the price wise goes. Number two is this modern, and this modern already feels lighter than that standard. Now, why they can't do this on every Gibson, on every Epiphone, and why can't they just do this on real Gibsons? Why must they say we got to stick, with the old-fashioned look like this is the standard, with the old-fashioned neck joint into the body with the heel and this here, and no extra cutaways, no belly cutaways, no nothing. No forearm cut, no deep cut here. When Fender, actually, you can get their vintage style and pay a lot more, or you can get their modern pros where they did improve on things, because it makes it for better playing experience, better action, better feel, better sound, better overall. But for some reason, Gibson and Epiphone, they're kind of trapped in the past, except for this one, because the name says it all. Modern. This is your Epiphone Modern, inspired by Gibson. You can see it's got the same headstock. So that one was a 2022, I do believe. This one's a 2022 as well. I just want to make sure. Yes, 2022, same kind of headstock. Now this is supposed to be the inspired by Gibson headstock from when they were working in Kalamazoo, Michigan, all under the same roof at the time. So this is what I think a Gibson should be. So right away you've got a Graphtec. Now again, Graphtec they use because it's white. Graphite are completely black. So I get they want to make it white to match with the border and for the look, that's still that vintage look, right? On this one here, you've got proper locking Grover tuners on this. Proper. Same thing. Headstock is attached to the neck. Neck is attached to the body. You've got a spacer in here as well. The knee bone's connected to the. So, and you can see the lines in here on how many pieces the back is. But look at this here cutaway. Look at that. The way that's contoured to get down there. Why can't they all be like that? Now, there are, I thought I saw the Muse has a belly cut, so it's contoured here. Now, why can't they just do that on every guitar? Belly cut, a little bit of a rounded forearm cut for guys like me that don't like that indentation, because I'm used to playing a Strat my entire life, and I used to wear a white sleeve that we used to use in autoglass, so to protect our arms, and I used to wear that just to play because I didn't like to feel, have that bother me as I'm playing. And yeah, people are gonna say, "Oh, what a baby!" But I'm not used to the sharp edge, and I lean a lot as I'm playing because I'm doing like that, so I'll end up having that kind of indentation there. But this one here, ebony fingerboard. So why can't Gibson just say, okay, locking tuners on everything, let's put a Graphtec nut on everything, or even the graphite, because I think the graphites are better than Graphtec, in my personal opinion. Why can't they put ebony fingerboards on all their guitars and have a choice of rosewood? You get a brighter sound out of ebony than you do on rosewood. Rosewood, you get a darker, warmer tone. Ebony is like having a maple neck. It's even brighter than a maple neck. And the difference between ebony, maple, and rosewood is that if you put the three woods in water, ebony's going to be the only one that's going to sink to the bottom. But you have open ebony, open pore ebony, and closed pore ebony. And the difference is you could see the pores are open, and on the open pore, the other ones are closed. And the difference there is that the closed pore ebony is slicker, smoother, sometimes looks a little shinier. But again, why can't they do this on all their guitars? This here has the tap for the phaser, 2 taps to take the humbucker and split it to a single coil. That's your phaser to give you that out of phase sound. And I compared this to my 59 Greenie Moore that has pickups handmade from Australia that already have the reverse magnet, and it sounds very, very similar to what I have there. And chambered, again, it's what they call weight relieved. It's nice and light. That one's heavier than this one. So why can't they do this on all of their guitars? And my other complaint, I'll mention it when I bring this one out. Oh, the modern, they're like $6.99 brand new. And I've seen them used for like $5.99. Sometimes you might find one for $5.59, or you might find one for $6.24. I've seen them used for that much. So I guess the resale value is pretty good on the Epiphones. Now, the one that I've always been eyeballing for the longest time, I can't tell you how long, probably since it came out, because this one here came out. This might not be their first one, but this looks like 2019. I don't have my bigger binoculars glasses on, but this looks 2019. And this is the KOA limited edition. And this is the first run where, again, I don't know why they can't make a custom, because this is their Les Paul Custom Pro. And you can tell the headstock is a little bit different. It's not like the two I just showed you. But why can't they when they started making copies of the Gibson Customs with Epiphone Customs, they made them with the block inlays, but God forbid they put an ebony fingerboard on it or put real mother of pearl inlays. So I don't know if this is really mother of pearl inlays, but they look pretty close to a copy. If they are not, because it's hard to see, you gotta look at it from the side. Then again with that one, oh, it's got that asymmetrical neck. I failed to mention, which why don't they do that on all? This one almost has the same kind of neck. It's a little bit, and it's not a thick neck. It's a thin 60s neck, but it's thinner down here than it is up here. It's thinner, tapered off by the high strings than and normal on the lower strings. But this here has proper Grover tuners. Again, I don't know why they couldn't put locking Grover tuners on here. That's their headstock to match the custom. And this has the rosewood. Now, I really thought it would bother me because I would see them when they first started copying the customs with an Epiphone headstock. Man, back in the 90s, I used to say, well, if you're going to copy a custom has a square inlays, and it's the difference between the custom and the standard is the ebony fingerboard. What the hell, man? But, you know, it's save a couple of bucks here, save a $1.47 here, $3 there.